bridge that one is talking about. Come on. Yeah. How? What? The integration. Purely through orientation that I would like to give to both academicians and practitioners. And this is what I've done. 31 years I've been doing this, business of education. I'll be very honest. I'm a teacher. Definitely. I don't teach subjects. Last 14 years, not a single subject. Not even a module of a subject. And I still consider myself as a teacher. I'm being very honest with you, because I do business of education. I want everyone to start thinking on those lines. You'll still do what you're doing and do better with better tangible benefits. And that's the reason why people have been called under one forum today, under the guise of FINSHIFT and a change of leadership and stuff like that. And we wanted it to be announced to the world that there is a change coming up, change happening, and we are announcing it today. Okay, now this is something which I'm not going to detail it out today because it should not sound like I am a teacher again and the audience in front of me are students. It should not sound like that. I have a lot of people and colleagues over here who look elder to me. And so with due respect to everyone, bear with me, but I'm talking business of education, which I think people have not done. So, integrating what I did in the last 30 odd years. 2x2 matrix, I'm just orienting you. And of course, for all members of Finance Forum of India, they have an access to this completely, lock, stock, barrel, with the guidance coming from the best who have done business of education. Right, so what is this? It's a 2x2 matrix, practically, that exists. One is the subject, the x-axis is the subject, and the y-axis is the ability. Ability, when I said ability, it's just not oral abilities. It can be, your oral video, whatever supporting points that you use. The pedagogy on the y-axis is as simple as that. Now, why am I showing you directly like this? I'll just try and tell you one very, very important aspect of business model. Okay, the best organization, what Kaplan is doing, what Kaplan did. Kaplan, US-based. Princeton, US-based. Harvard Business School, the executive education domain, attracts 10,000 students across 150 countries, 100 times more than its conventional formal education offerings. This is real. That's business. That's real business. And what the approach followed by them, you look at Harvard today, Harvard has an approach of PSDD. Product, sales, delivery, distribution. Why am I using Harvard? Because everyone knows Harvard. My erstwhile organization, IMS, when I started in 1996 or 7, I was the first MBA, the 5th employee, one center, 300, 500, 1,000 students. Implementing the PSDD approach in 13 years, when I called it off, 100,000 plus students, 148 centers, 1,000 plus people. Pure PSDD approach. Every organization in education is looking at that. You look at Narsi Monji today, NMIMS will think about distribution as its major way of growth. It doesn't add products more than the distributed units that it thinks of adding. And that's happening. PSDD approach has to be embedded in every academician practitioner's mind, because if you want to play a role in business of education, product, sales, delivery, distribution. So delivery and distribution, delivery and product goes hand in hand for a teacher as well as a practitioner. Product and delivery always goes hand in hand with a teacher and a practitioner sitting in front of me, which constitutes the y-axis. Product plus delivery is your pedagogical sum up, which is the y-axis. And the subject that you're talking about is on the x-axis. So my first suggestion, if you quickly have a look at this, my first suggestion is every academician needs to think of moving from a teacher course quadrant to at least a teacher product quadrant. This is the movement that I'm talking about, and it is more than possible because that is nothing else but education product management, which is very, 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 very simple if an academician understands it. From a teacher, or he remains as a teacher, from a course to a product, with all the jargons that the world talks about, 7 P's of marketing, and Peter Drucker, and Michael Porter, and everyone. All I'm saying, that's the beginning. Eventually, he has to move. The second movement for him is to move from product to the product trainer, speaker, orator quadrant. So when I say teacher, trainer, speaker, orator, it's for people to understand it's nothing else but combination of the real program differentials coupled with the delivery pedagogical differentials, oral skills playing an important role in it. From a teacher to a trainer, teacher is the one who teaches a course, who probably is able to execute a course. A trainer is the one who brings a little bit of practice and practicals into it. A speaker is the one who probably tries to inspire somebody a little more. Orator is the one who just plays on the emotions and emotions and emotions. Without quoting off record, ABC in a political circle, which people talk about, is still a trainer. A lot of them are speakers, and maybe a couple of them stand out. Maybe one stands out as an orator. I cannot, but I think people are smart enough to assess who is a teacher, trainer, speaker, orator in our political circles with the kind of things happening. You're not here to spell them out. All I'm saying, the gentleman who's going to speak after this, where's Vishal? Okay. The gentleman who is going to speak after me, Vishal, if you permit me, can I share your background? Little masala also, because I need to edify as my third speaker. It's as simple as that. So Vishal Bhojani is a management graduate, worked with BNP Paribas, right? Fell in love with a girl over there. Yeah, you did, right? Yes. Eventually got married to her. He said, famous couple of BNP Paribas getting married together. Yahan tak? No, because I wanted people to know that you're married. Yeah, that's point number one. Point number two, he has been doing this. He's been in that space of education for the last 7-8 odd years. And I think I met up with him around 5-6 years back. And he was teaching in quite a few management schools. I had structured a small course. Small course. I think investment banking structuring. Not even a course. He had few courses, not one. 3-4 courses here, there. In this college, that college, all that kind of thing happening. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, passionate educationist, probably a good trainer, moved on to becoming a speaker. But importantly, the course changed to a product, and today he is the CEO of an education business model organization which does more than 1,000 students every year. Shall I reveal your revenues? I shouldn't, okay. Course to product movement gives you compensation per student. Course gives you compensation per hour. Product gives you compensation per student, and course gives you compensation per. All I can safely tell you, that is compensation because he's created an education product organization, would not be anything less than 30 times, Bhojani, 30 times than what you would have made as a conventional course teacher. 30 times. Not a joke. He's young. And Dr. Sengupta, obviously, is very senior. My guru, he got me in SPGen. I'm the youngest faculty of SPGen in the history till date. So those days, अभी मैं इतना उछल कूद करता हूँ ऐसे लग रहा होगा तो 25-27 साल पहले थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही करता होगा, right? So he was kind enough to get me, and he has passed on this baton of Finance Forum of India to me. Bhojani is one of my very, very, very close friend, colleague, mentee, prodigy, whatever, and he has successfully done what I'm trying to showcase it to you. I want to institutionalize this through a platform and an organization called as Finance Forum of India, and every academician and practitioner, whoever is present and hearing this, has a right to own a business, product, education bracket, organization with cognizance of the educational institution or the company that you are attached with. The legalities. Okay? With this, I'm not stopping. I am trying to throw light upon the changes in the financial industry and the asset class markets. And I think I will invite now Vishal to take it forward so that I'd like to spend some time qualitatively with people who are here and see what best is possible. Next slide. Okay. Why slide 1, 2, 3 are relevant? Vishal Bhojani is here, that's why they're relevant. One case study, simple. Right? It works wonders from a course teacher to a product orator to make it people understand. And everyone is capable to do it. Okay. Just because I'm an economist, I authored a book in economics. Why and how it happened was again an accident. But whatever GDP analysis sir said, it is predicted that the GDP movement or GDP contribution by the education sector in our context is going to be double digit in 2030. It is phenomenal. And that includes private education too. That includes private education too. Okay, Vishal, next. Okay, now this is, I will detail it out after us, but I want you to see this, everyone. What is Finance Forum of India? I told you I want to integrate things with everyone's support, with everyone as a beneficiary, as simple as that. The process is set, the mandate has been given, the ideas are there, the content has been structured, the model is out to roll. It's as simple as that. So it's basically IMS. This is a Porter diamond, you know. I don't want to dwell upon because a lot of academicians are there. They would have done more research than me on strategy. But I studied this in London Business School once I was there. And even in IIM Ahmedabad when I went for a leadership course. So most businesses revolve around 3 or 4 legs. And that is what Michael Porter conceptualized and presented, said it's a Porter diamond. The 4 important aspects of doing any business. And I'm talking about business of education for an academician and a practitioner in the world of finance. So basically, there are 4 entities. We want to learn what best they did and eliminate what bad they did. Simple. And incidentally, luckily, fortunately, IMS scratched to where it went. ASBS MBA, my own model. Upgrade, Ronnie Screwwala. I happened to have some connection through my boss with him when I was in IMS. And Unacademy, the owner, Bowman Irani, invited us to his Bangalore office for a lot of things which I can't spell officially. So what I'm trying to tell you is these 4 things are known to us. It's our DNA. We are in the business of business education. We got a real life story where somebody has successfully achieved it. All we are trying to tell you is, as fellow academician and practitioner, be a part of our organization, make it yours, and see how it shapes up. Vishal, the forum is yours. Please come.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible? You'll change, right? So hi, good afternoon everyone. Okay, lunch is getting prepared. All right. So I'll take 35 minutes and I'll be talking about financial markets, financial system. I'll be talking about some of the important asset classes which have boomed in past 1 decade, especially a country like India who has emerged significantly in past 10 years. So I started my journey in 2010. I finished my MBA. Post that, I started working with a company called as JP Morgan. I'm sure everybody would have heard it. So I was into money markets. That is a short-term market where a lot of interbank transactions happen. You might have heard about treasury bills, commercial paper, certificate of deposit. So for daily transaction, when bank needs some kind of funds, money market is a tool. Then I was with BNP Paribas, as sir also said it. Over there, my role was into exotic derivatives. So you might have heard about options, futures, call, put, forwards, futures. So I was into that. So that was my journey since 2018. I started this organization and we have been training more than 10,000 students across and especially into the domain of finance, close to around 4,500. So next slide, please. Next. You can do all. Full. So I'll be talking about 4 important things over here. First is financial system, global markets, key drivers, and asset classes. So let's start with the first one. Next. All right. So in financial system, let me make you understand that what all thing comes, because it's very important if you're planning to join hands with FFOI, you need to understand that this is a part of finance which is more related to financial markets, financial institution, which you might have known that since COVID, we all have been trading and investing more. The number of Demat account which has opened in 2021 has been the highest since 1987. And post that, it has keep increasing at a very rapid pace. So first is financial market. Can I have next? Next. So one is organized market. You can have full, yeah. So one is organized market, unorganized market. So in organized, we have money market, which is short term. When I say short term, it's only from 1 day. If a bank wants a loan from 1 day to 365 days. And if anything you want to invest more than a year, or maybe even you want to do for 1 day, that is more related to capital markets. So we'll have a bifurcation of what all things come under capital markets as well. And then there is primary, which is more related to IPOs. I hope everybody knows what is an IPO. Initial public offering, where the share comes for the first time in the market. That's primary market. And secondary market, if any one of you Monday morning going and buying Reliance or HDFC Bank share, that is secondary market. Next, then there are 2 important financial institutions, NBFCs and banking institution. Next. So in that we have a lot of investment banks in India like JP Morgan, BNP Paribas. We have cooperative commercial bank, private public, ICICI versus SBI. We have some of the regional rural bank. But the catch is on the left hand side, which is, can you have a, and that is asset classes. So this is something which has boomed in past, I would say, a decade, and especially since COVID, and that is capital market. In that, the first one which comes is equity, then bonds, currency, commodities, and last but one of the most important key indicator, and that is, and one of the best financial instrument traded, especially in countries like US and India, and that is derivatives. So that's the global markets which are there. They open at very different timing. Starting from the east, Japanese market starts first. So that is Nikkei, and then it moves to Hong Kong, moves to the west, then India, then FTSE is of London, DAX is of Germany, and CAC is of France. And then it moves down to the evening, like evening 7:30, the market opens, and that is US. And that is Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and S&P 500. So the overall world markets, if you see equity especially, it has a market capitalization of 109 trillion right now. This is as of 2023 December. It's 109 trillion. And in this, India stands at around 6th position in terms of market capitalization, which as per lot of important sources, by 2030, we'll be the 4th one in terms of market capitalization. Now, if some of you don't know what is market capitalization, it is majorly number of shares which we all have, right? We all are general public, like retail investors, multiply by the share price. And if that goes bigger and bigger, that means our market is one of the best emerging markets in the world. Next. So currently at number 1, we have USA, NASDAQ, one more, which currently has a market cap of 24.7 trillion. 12 zeros multiplied by 83, that comes to around a huge number, and 3,411 listed companies are there currently in NASDAQ, which is the top. If you see 109 trillion, which I just quoted a number, out of that, 42% of the market shares, equity, buying, selling is happening because of this market. This market contributes 42%. India contributes somewhere around 4 to 5% currently in the world, I'm saying. This by 2030 will be close to 9%, and by 2050 close to 25%, and US will drop till 35%. Because they are overdeveloped, and India is reaching at a stage where we will be reaching to a stage where we are not called just emerging, but one of the most developed countries in the world by 2050. So that is NASDAQ right now at number 1. Next, quickly. Number 2 again is the New York Stock Exchange, is of US, which has 202,256 companies. Next, what we have on third currently is Euro. So Euro next, almost 6.59 trillion economy, and especially in terms of equities, and one of the most traded. As we see, so many powers are there. Like as I said, CAC, FTSE, London, France, Germany, and Euronext is an exchange group that operates 7 stock exchanges like Brussels, Amsterdam, and it has a worldwide reach. Now, there is quite a reason that I'm sharing you from number 1 to number 7, where we'll come at 6, India, that sitting over here as a part of financial market, we all can trade now. Since 2020, it was not there. And we can, more than trade, we can spread the awareness to the people. So as I said, the number of people investing in equity was close to 2% in India, which has now reached to more than 8 to 10% of demat accounts getting closed. Still, there is an awareness of 80 to 90%, which is not happening. So there is huge scope for training. For that, we need to understand that what is this financial market? Because as Indians, what my mom told me always since I was born, it was only one thing, and that was fixed deposit. And I'm sure that you might have gone through a similar thing. Then after some years, she said, recurring deposit. But there was no much difference in RD and FD. Then somehow we had a courage in 2020, because we were bored of playing Ludo, so we thought we'll watch markets. And we started investing something in the market when it fell down. So that was the stage where we had a courage. We started using the scanner payment, the digitalization and all that trust of online shares. started building up. Next. Fourth is Shanghai Stock Exchange with a market cap of 6.52 trillion. Next. Then we have Tokyo, which is Japanese market. Next. And here comes India. So I'm sure everybody would have seen a web series 92 Scam, something like this. Yes? No? How many have seen? So post that, this was born, and that is NSE. How many of you are aware what is NSE? It is more trustworthy when you buy a share. What do you say? That I want to buy it through BSE or NSE? Most of us, 80 to 90% of the trades. So NSE contributes close to $4.64 trillion and 2,417 companies which are listed. Yes, we have BSE as well, which is equally good, but not as good as NSE. Next. Then we have Shenzhen, which is again China. Next. Then we have Hong Kong at 8. Can we go a little ahead? We're running short of time. And then we have London Stock Exchange at number 9. Two important key drivers which has happened, two important, like who invests and who trades. So I used to work more than 8 years in this domain, and that's investment banking. So how many of you are aware about what does an investment bank do? Great. So unlike banking, they are more into consulting. So let's say one of you has a private limited company and want to go for a public limited company. You cannot just call SEBI or National Stock Exchange or Bombay Stock Exchange and say, I want to get listed. You have to go to a JP Morgan or a Morgan Stanley or a BNP Paribas or a Credit Suisse or any investment bank or a merchant bank who will help you, guide you, and who will do the valuations. When Idea got merged with Vodafone, it was not a phone call that let's get merged. They went to this entity who helped doing the mergers and acquisition. Because they are specialized, especially in one important thing, and that is one of the most important training topic currently, which one needs to learn or each student should learn, and that is valuation. Have you heard about a name called as financial modeling, where we do and forecast things on Excel? While India follows an accounting principle of IFRS, I'm sure some of the chartered accountant would know that, and US follows US GAAP, which is generally accounted accepted principles. Both are different. Like Tesla uses a different model altogether, and a Tata Motor uses. So to understand that, and how do I forecast next 5 years of cash flow of these companies by using tools like discounted cash flow, internal rate of return, net present value, is something which is one of the important tools these people do. They have created a lot of jobs, especially in India. And there's one more, so that's how it works. Next. So investment bank is there in between. There's an investor, there's a corporate. They will also help you to do the asset management. Next. So basically, their services are complex in nature, the last point, but it helps companies to take better financial decisions. So if I'm a company, I want to raise a debt. If I'm a company wants to do an IPO, if I'm a company wants to do a merger, if I'm a Byju's want to acquire Akash, I have to go to this entity, which is spreading across a lot in India and across the globe, the kind of transactions happening in a day. So these are the people who sometimes acts as a broker also. I'm not talking about deals of only India, but sitting over here, one can also trade by using their expertise in the world markets as well. And last, one of the most important drivers is the role of hedge funds. Now, how many of you have known what is a cryptocurrency or a Bitcoin? So sooner or later, so in India, in equity, when you buy a share, when does it get settled? It takes T plus, it was T plus 2, like almost for 10, 15 years. But I think a year back, it has started T plus 1. In cryptos, it is real-time settlement, which is the goal of our finance ministry to make it a real-time basis and becoming the first one in the world to have this. Apart from India, there is only China who has T+1 settlement. Rest everyone has more than T+1. So hedge fund, they invest everywhere. I'm not saying only listed products, but also OTC. OTC is unorganized, over the counter. So they trade heavily in that as well. Next. Some of the asset classes, equities, I'm sure is, as I said, 109 trillion. Right now the market capitalization out of that, 4 to 5% would be of India. So equities has changed everything. So the knowledge of equities which we have now, I'm sure it's much better than what we had 10 years back. The kind of awareness, the mutual funds, the role of the brokers, I think Zero, how they teach and how it's not about just opening an account. I think they have become more aware and making you aware as well that what all things are needed. So equities is one of the most important asset classes right now. Nifty is trading at a high right now, except the fall on last Friday. There was a fall, but apart from that, I think we were at high. So equities worldwide, if you see, even ADR, GDR, IDR is one of the most important markets which we have. So that's American Depository Receipt, Global Depository Receipt. Next, bonds. So it comes under debt market. How many of you are aware about bonds? In India, if you say the participation of you and me, retail people, is quite less in bonds. But 45% of the population of United States of America trades in bonds. By this, in past 1 year, our government, along with Reserve Bank of India, has started a very nice bond. You might have heard about it. It's called Sovereign Gold Bond. It's called SGB. So in that, your underlying class is gold. You get 5%, I think, some interest. And after 10 to 15, 20 years, some lock-in period, as per the gold price, which will be after 10 years, you will get that amount of money back. So that is one of the important changes which has happened in bonds. Worldwide, if you see, there are 5 important types of bonds, which is government bonds. Next. Zero coupon bonds, corporate bonds, asset-backed securities, MBS, mortgage-backed securities, and convertible bonds, which can be converted into equity. But this knowledge has not been at its best in India. I think it has a huge scope for the students to learn, for the professionals to learn. Because when one of you invest in mutual fund, and you say, I have 1 lakh rupees, the mutual fund manager will ask you a question, how much risk are you willing to take? You might say 80%. That means your 80,000 goes in equity. And remaining 20%, where you don't want to take risk, goes in bonds. So one can have their own choice of asset classes rather than just relying on mutual funds. So that is bonds, where you pay me the money, I will give you every year something that is called coupon. After 10 years, you take your money back. But this looks very on secondary market also. Problem in India is of, can someone think? Very good. The problem in India is of liquidity. You will not find buyers and sellers on an ongoing basis, which is not a problem in other countries, as you saw, in US, in Japan, in Hong Kong. It is not a problem. So we are reaching that. The way we have achieved goals in equities as India, I think bonds is at least 5 to 10 years from now. And I think as practitioners, I think it's all of us a responsibility to spread this awareness and the knowledge to the people of India. 2 of the most underrated financial instrument in India, where we know but we have hardly traded, unless we have gone to US, but we want to exchange INR for dollars. That was the only time we had that OTC transaction with the money dealer or the forex dealer. But on a scale when we can open a demat account with NSC into currency account, and then buying 4 important currencies like USD INR, JPY INR, Euro INR, and GBP INR, we can trade and have a cash settlement done as well. the only market which is the biggest market in the world in terms of daily trades, and that's Forex. And the second is commodities, where three important things plays a role. One is metals, which we all know. Females in the room, we love gold. So that's metals. Then we have the energy space. And last but not the least, our special, which is the Awam of India, and that is our agriculture. All the agriculture commodities which gets traded on an exchange, NCDX, and your metals are traded on MCX. So, but the trading hours goes beyond 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. One needs to get more aware, one needs to understand more of these financial instruments and have spread more awareness about it. Next. One of my favorite, my first love, when I was in 2009, when I finished my MBA, and that's derivatives. So futures, options is something quite active in India. But the other two, forwards and swaps, which is more related to OTC, unorganized market, it is more famous because OTC is not allowed in India. Hence, we are not openly trading into cryptos because it's OTC. Again, in swaps, we have interest rate swaps, cross-currency swaps, credit default swaps, and many more. But these are the two which has huge scope in India. There are many people having programs, having courses. So if one learns that and get yourself associated with such forums, I think it's the time for you to learn these financial instruments. You won't believe, on this Friday, when some of you might think, if not related to only academic, what if I start, once I get associated with FOFI, what I can start a trading program? Is it possible? Last Friday, if you would have bought a put option at 5 rupees, it was close to 400 at the end of the day. I'm talking about last Friday. That means, in derivatives, one can earn money even if the market goes down. So that is something which one needs to learn as a trader mindset. If some of you trade, how many of you trade? Oh wow, there's a good janta who trades, great. So I think futures and options will play an important role. In options, we have call and put. And in futures, we need to pay margin. We can long future, short future. Next. I think it's almost done. Next. OK. So that's it from my side. I covered the asset classes. I covered the financial markets. All I wanted to tell you is get yourself aware about the various financial instruments which are coming. As I said, one of the most important innovation which came in bonds was sovereign gold bonds. And futures and option markets are also booming. I would say school teachers, and I would say college teachers and college students, they've also started participating in a limited capacity in financial instruments like equities and derivatives. So yeah, that's it from my side. I thank Nilesh sir, I thank FOFI for inviting me on this forum and let me speak to you guys. And I would highly recommend you guys to be a part of it so we can meet in such more sessions where we can transfer knowledge to each other. Thank you.
Last slide.
Just a quick arrangement that we have arranged a delicious lunch at the ground floor. So please head down there and have your lunch.
Yeah. Wait.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Am I audible? Okay. So we got some dignitaries from Institute of Mechanical Engineering. So we welcome you for this. If you can just raise your hand. Yeah. I think. Because that's more than 100-year-old institution, and it is aligned with Finance Forum of India, and it's in a very different domain, right? Institute of Mechanical Engineering. I mean, just to give you a brief, more than 100 years in existence. They have a right to confer upon, or rather had a right to confer upon, a chartered engineer equivalent to a BTech or a BE. During our days when we were growing up, I told you I'm an accidental BTech, petrochemical. We had a body known as AMI, and I think I can safely say IMI was a bigger institution than AMI. Now, I know all of you are hungry. I'm not going to take much time, but I am going to probably be doing today why we got you guys over here. And post-lunch, people have a right to catch hold of me. Okay, it's as simple as that. For anything in context. So, but now what I'm going to tell you, and now what I'm going to talk with you, is creating business models around education in the world of finance. You obviously need two people. Yeah, I always say there is a producer of education, there is a consumer of education. As simple as that. So if I talk about MBA business that I've been in, you're talking about B schools which produce products. And you have got the corporate side which consumes those products. It's as simple as that. And if we can get the producer and consumer together, automatically you have a reason to believe that you will have a better product, obviously more consumable. It's as simple as that. So getting the practitioner connected with an academician and creating a product around it to move the course to a product and infusing elements in a teacher to move to a orator. That's the framework. Now, how is it possible? Because people plan Silicon Valley, 93% of the ideas that get invested into eventually don't see the light at the end of the day. We all are aware of it. It's a real thing. One of the reasons is people fail to understand their own business. Businesses fail because people fail to understand their own business. So by God's grace, I told you this is my last innings, and it's a 3-inning test match live that I'm playing. First IMS, second academia, and third is Finance Forum of India. So obviously, the last one has to be a lasting one for everyone's case. Deep planning of 33 months has gone in. And today we kickstart this organization, obviously with the first life cycle phase of 7 years, within which in the next 6 months, I would be inviting finance academicians and professionals and educational institutions and corporates belonging to non-finance domain have shown more interest to come under a roof, come on a platform, so that we just don't ideate and conceptualize, we create business models. And the world is talking about incubation, and the world is talking about acceleration. The world is talking about upskilling, and the world is talking about upscaling. Just to define this, for people who are unaware of it, I presume most of you are, because I have a highly esteemed audience in front of me. Upskilling is addition of skills, upgradation of skills, which is not necessarily backed, in fact, not backed with post-graduation. Upscaling is building onto aspiration or upgradation of aspirations through post-graduation. Incubation is ideation to conceptualization to roll off. Acceleration is rolled off, being scaled up. And in the context of model of education, it is PSDD. So practically, practitioner, academician, and FFI on FFI platform, and FFI and on FFI platform come together to ideate, conceptualize a course into a product. Step number 1. Step number 2, roll it out, incubate. FFI will incubate at its expense. Step number 3, life cycle phase, 1,000 days, survival. Step number 4, acceleration, which is scale up. And this is how we strongly believe that Finance Forum of India would be a upscaling aggregator in the domain of finance programs globally. And when I say globally, I mean globally. We've already initiated our talks with AACSB, which accredits the best management schools, including Harvard. We've already spoken with CMAN, which is a Central Europe-based institution, and they are more than happy to have us onboarded with them. I was in Europe last week in Paris, did visit HEC Paris. All I'm trying to tell you is it's a model which is going to be aggregating, upscaling, education business models, and of whose, when I define whose, it is you, if you are interested. As simple as that. How is it possible? Just to tell you this, and this has to be understood. IMS, a conventional coaching institution, a course of CAT, simple, like any other course that you do. The course was originally in correspondence format, if people are aware of it. Kitabe, simple words, material business course. Somebody thought, इसको classroom में पढ़ाते हैं. Obviously, एक batch, दो batch classroom में पढ़ना चालू हो गया. Course, which is what you do. 1999, one center, one place where the course was executed. Moves to product. Teacher skills move to oratory skills. 2009, 100,000 plus students, 150 plus centers, 600 plus people. Scale up, incubated, 1,000-day lifespan, scale up, proven. Not trying to boast. I am the ex-CEO of IMS who called it off in 2009 because I wanted to scale up business schools. That's point number 2, which is ASBS MBA, Academia Schools of Business Studies, for the student community, for the product, and Academia supported B schools for the statutory bodies. We aggregated management schools, offline, statutorily governed, AICTE approved. No one has done it. I don't have a competitor in Bombay at least, if not in the country. Two of my assignment, 13 years each. Unacademy, what it does, it aggregates teachers like you, creating an online platform. Go to Unacademy platform, you can offer a course. They won't incubate or move it to a product. You still continue as a teacher. Not trying to find faults or flaws with some business model, but telling you what the DNA of that organization is. Upgrade, aggregator of upskilling and upscaling programs. None of the programs are in offline manner governed by statutory bodies in this country. Not trying to find faults or flaws. People are doing it in spite, despite faults, gaps. Here is a platform where it's within the legal structure of education in our country, opportunity for academicians and practitioners to be a part of this movement, if I were to call it. Yeah, this is my last innings, and I want it to be a lasting one. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now invite Professor Anil Menon and Savi Madam, to just launch something. Are they going to come there? Where is Shanak? Tama bolo to. Anil, can you get Anil Menon for me? Anil Menon, and I want Anil Menon. How is the inauguration going to happen? The launch over there? No, let madam and both of them do it together. Please, ma'am. Anil, please. So, as a small, quick brief of Anil Menon, good friend of mine, SP Jain, together for 2 decades plus. Part of SP Jain Global, currently director of a B school, which is connected to ASBS MBA. Uh, and Savi madam, she is the backbone of IME. I made a mention, a 100-year-old organization. I think let's have a round of applause for Savi ma'am. They've been kind enough to come, and I think what has to be done? Yeah, वो दोनों के हाथ में दे दो. अरे पकड़ो, दोनों के हाथ में सिर्फ पकड़ो और क्या दबाना है बोलो. मतलब बटन दाबा फक्त. या दाबा. Okay. The memberships are open today across categories from K-12, graduate students, postgraduate students, practitioner, academician, professional, institutions, MBA institutions, non-MBA institutions, and corporates. Right? All available, everything is live. Welcome to this community. Ladies and gentlemen, I solicit your support. Let's grow together. Thank you so much. Have a good lunch, and after that, you have every reason to catch hold of me, to understand everything, anything that would have been a gap or a flaw. Don't do it in public, do it in person, yeah, because I look forward to your learnings, and that's me. Name is Nilesh Saravte. You can Google. The photograph that you would see on Google would be a fat little bummy with no hair. Today somebody is different. And this is precisely what I want to do with this, my last third innings in my career, Finance Forum of India. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lunch is served on the ground floor. So you'll have to go outside near the gate. The entry
we are discussing today, hello, was between academics and practitioners and training. So actually, I've done all three. Okay. I'm a CMA, cost management accountant, and I've been teaching finance for quite many years. I was a professor of finance. So where lies the gap? That's what you were trying to say. True. See, students in finance, when we had finance, I used to take a test for students to get into finance. Okay. That was first thing we started. What we have is a gap between the application of the knowledge and what they are learning. So in finance, ultimately then I started teaching in Excel. Because if you want to teach finance, without Excel you cannot teach finance. And that's why I'm teaching financial modeling also, which bridges the gap between the application and their theoretical knowledge. Otherwise, without that, you cannot teach finance. So that is the gap. They cannot apply what they have learned. And that is why they don't get jobs.
Finance mein jugaad nahi chalta na, sir.
You have to, when they go for a job.
Either you know it or you don't know it.
So when they go for interview, I said passing the exam is not important. Passing the interview is important. They are not selected in interviews because they don't know anything. Basic concepts are not clear. What is your favorite subject? Derivatives. So what is a call option? They don't know. So yeah, all these things put together. So as you are rightly saying, their skill sets should be developed if they want to go into finance. Even if they are doing finance, marketing in finance, they have to know a lot of things. So that is the basic gap which I face in students.
I'll just brief you about see the membership that we are launching. One is institutional and second is individual. First off, I will talk essentially, sir is on his way. He's having his lunch. So he should be here in another 15 minutes. But let me talk about the membership benefits as far as students are concerned. And sorry. So we have 7 services that we have identified for the student. First is FFOI Insights. Now Insights is basically, you'll find that in the brochures that have been given to you. Insights is a service where we are trying to, it's a repository of 3 elements. One is careers in finance. So how the progression is, what they need to do, what kind of skills they need to develop if they want to pursue a particular career. Second is now, we as academicians, what we do is, whenever a student is supposed to go for an interview with you, we tell them कि थोड़ा सा कंपनी के ऊपर रिसर्च करके जाओ. And that is exactly what the industry expects. But there is no system which tells them actually कि वो research करना क्या है. So what we are trying to do is, we will give them inputs on that research. One in terms of industry and उसमें companies. So industry कैसे grow कर रही है? What exactly are the services within that industry? उसमें क्या आपसे expected है? तो ये सारा detail एक one pager on every industry and about 20-25 companies in each industry, we will have that as a repository. And that will be available to every student. So I believe कि एक basic understanding of what the company is expecting उसको पता चल जाएगा with that one note. That is one, that is insights. Second is research and publication. We are looking at a quarterly journal, and research is what we want to focus on. Because there are plenty of issues that are likely to come. Someone told me that I have a friend at Sintel. He's working on artificial intelligence, and he says that 72% of the current jobs across the globe can be done by artificial intelligence. So if 72% jobs can be done by AI, it means that at least about 50% of the world population will be unemployed. What do we do with that? I don't know how to actually take care of that scenario. And he says that this is likely to happen over the period of next 10 to 25 years. It is very difficult to predict the time frame. So it may happen in 25 years, but it can also happen in 10 years. So it is extremely difficult to identify the time frame. But we as practitioners, I think it becomes our responsibility to make sure that the new generation which is coming into the system, they are guided. They need to know, and that is where this whole research comes in. So we have identified few areas, and we would like to have corporates being part of the research, and the academicians, and FFOI. So it will be a collaborative research. We have identified about 7-8 areas. We can send it across to you. And whoever is interested, we would like to take this forward. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to predict trends in the field of finance. And I'm sure that will help, that will definitely help the younger minds. And plus, I see a lot of gray hairs out here, but there are plenty of young guys sitting who probably would have about 3-4 years or 5 years of experience. I think they will also need these kind of inputs. So that's the second service, publication and research. Third is we have created a platform. Yes, sir. Yes. Both in terms of research, and every research will cost money. So, yes. Yes, yes. And then you will be spelling out what will be the type of a cost involved in that? Yes, yes. The third service that we are planning to offer to the students is Surge. Now, there are two elements to Surge. One is training the students in terms of public speaking. You'll be surprised, I have been interacting with engineering colleges. About last year, I interacted with last to last year, I interacted with about 42 engineering colleges. Technically very strong, but their ability to communicate what is here is a challenge. So Surge, sir, I'll just explain them all the services and then you can take over. Surge is a combination of two elements. One is training on public speaking, and second is we will invite people from the industry to talk about their experiences. So the first talk is being organized in the month of June, and our first speaker will be Economic Affairs Head from the Japanese consulate in Mumbai. This will be an online session, and we'll send across the details to you. The fourth element is Node, K-N-O-D-E. It's an online networking platform. So, yeah.
Today I am a practicing chartered accountant. But this is one thing which we fall back when it comes to actually public speaking. So that is the thing I feel the students of today also, it's right from the era when I cleared, it's around 30 years back, till today, CA students are not very good, speakers. That I don't know how many chartered accountants are here today or they are pursuing CA, but this is what I see, sir.
So, so Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, when they deliberated on this issue, this was spotted I think in 1998 or 2002, I'm not too sure. They introduced the concept of GMCS, which you guys, yeah, but it has not served its purpose. Let me be very upfront with you. So GMCS was a concept where they, I mean, the biggest challenge of being a chartered accountant or even an American CFA for that matter, or a CS or a CMA for that matter, these are all self-study oriented certifications, professional certifications. Now, precisely you miss out on interactions with fellow colleagues. You miss out on what they call it as liberal thinking process. You know, nowadays the world is talking about liberal education, holistic thought process. Nothing to take away from CAs and CMAs and the CFAs of the world. They are doing their fair bit of justice to what they were supposed to do. But yes, you aptly pointed out communication is a serious, serious concern. Amongst all professionally trained individuals, whether it is even US CFA. So if you look at Mexico, where if any of the Latin American countries, but Mexico specifically because I have a first-hand experience, a lot of 10 CFAs drawing salary upwards of $300,000 per year, which is a decent amount of money in Indian currency. They couldn't speak for nuts. And what happened was they were invited in Italy for, and then they suddenly realized they are better off than the Italians. Okay, so when we say communication, oral communication, since charters mostly operate in India, and Indians per se speak pretty good English in that category that the charters deal with, on a scale of relativity, the charters are little far behind. You send the charters to countries like Lebanon. I'm sure an Indian chartered would outskill in oral communication in English vis-a-vis a Lebanese. So the way I think is the orientation of a professionally certified individual in the world of finance, US CFA, Indian CA, CMA, ACCA from UK, has to be that of a global professional. If that happens, then it may not be English, it might be a portfolio of languages that these guys might need to be trained on. Language skills will play a vital role. My university, where I am a part of, I'm connected with them, obviously. You can't call off an assignment overnight. Mantralaya is not going to like it. So we just launched language training programs. And this is Mr. Modi ji. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. Modi ji has just, not launched just, he's been talking about it for 2 years, Skill India mission, which you people are all aware of, which is in public domain. But he has also been talking about international skill centers. And you know what is the vision of international skill centers? You would be shocked and surprised to know, and which is phenomenal, is mobility from India to the outside world. So that the skill gaps of the developed countries and the developing countries will be filled in by Indians, for which Indians need to be trained on foreign language, and that's how India will become a skill capital, global skill capital that one is talking about. So we strongly believe that it's going to be a portfolio of languages, not just English, is the future, for all these professional certifications. As far as value add for qualitative charters are concerned, what we conceptualized as far as finance forum is concerned, most charters that we've dealt with, and I've been dealing with quite a few of them, not to take away the technical knowledge that they possess. Obviously, they are like doctors of accounts, and no one can substitute that, even auditing and taxation for that matter. But when it comes to exotic finance, areas of exotic finance, if somebody talks about bond valuation for that matter, let me assure you, not too many CAs would qualify to do analysis, the betas and the gammas and the deltas of Black-Scholes options pricing model, the real finance that one is talking about. And this is an observation. Though the things are covered in the syllabus, it's not that it is not there, it's there. But the importance is not felt because the chartered 3 years of articleship, automatically things auditing, taxation, practice, at max nowadays GST, because that's where the support is needed. Indian tax system, Indian tax regime. So they miss out on areas on the likes of financial analytics. They miss out on areas like fintech. They miss out on areas like hedge fund operations. They miss out on areas like investment banking. They miss out on areas like the futuristic BFSI. They miss out on primarily areas which include financial engineering. So, we strongly believe the value add for all these professional certifications through FFI will come through a program that we've structured called as financial engineering. The details are there on the website. You can have a look at it. Okay. And obviously, when we structure product, I told you it is PSDD approach. So P is never a single P. It's always a portfolio around a domain. It can be a one-day program to a 2-year program. And that is very, very vital. If you don't do it, the chances are that you miss out on a potential target group, the customer, right? So that's being structured. It's all there on the website. Why am I sharing this? Is because this is where we want to bring in a small element of, not revolution, that would be too strong a word, but movement, where the skill gaps and even the attitudinal gaps are being addressed. Knowledge gaps do get addressed by Quora. You go to Quora, it's a free website, you get everything available. No great science in reinventing the wheel. But bridging attitudinal and skills gap is going to be a very important agenda, and we're going to be slow. Let me be very assured and, assuming on this that I'm not going to be rushing into it, because what we do, we have to do it with certainty, which plugs the gaps that exist in the industry. So when I say financial engineering, trust me, okay, I'll just give you an analogy to this. The world talks about artificial intelligence, machine learning. The world is talking about it. We are all aware of it. Data analytics, business analysis, EAO, up to the world of machine learning. God knows whether it's going to be really, really, really going to be successful. We are in very, 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 very virgin phase of that domain, except for, a certain no in medical advanced surgeries, cancer, breast cancer. It's yet to prove its, but the world believes in it. And you would be surprised to know that the country that took initiative was Israel before US did it. Financial engineering is spoken about in Israel today, is spoken about in US today. You go to Singapore, National University of Singapore, they have a master's in financial engineering. And our country is a little far behind. We try to plug that gap by offering something which the country wants. So, that's a right program for all these charters, because it's just not about communication per se. Communication backed with the skill gap is vital. And exotic finance, when I exotic finance, I made a mention about all these areas. You look at Manhattan, you look at NASDAQ. I'm sure everyone is well versed with what happens on the high floors of Manhattan, or the who's who of the financial world, global financial, the guys who are on the NASDAQ and guys who work with Dow Jones, guys who work with the investment banks from US, the private equity funds, the biggest hedge funds, they operate out of that place. I'm afraid there are not too many chartereds over there, sir. I'm really afraid, and I think that's not a good sign. But you have Indian IIM Ahmedabad guys or an ISB guy who would have retooled himself by doing another program in Stern or Wharton out there, again in US, occupying those slots. So, we will make an humble attempt, in trying to educate and trying to bridge the skill gap that the charters potentially have. So that's an humble submission, sir.
I think Let's do one thing, sir. You're already in this. Let's continue with, let's continue with this. And I will take the services later on.
No. You need to tell services. Otherwise, you will not have members. They all have to be your members first. He heads the membership vertical. So obviously, he is a well-trained professional in the world of education for the last 2 decades plus. Management graduate, was ex-CEO of an education company in the past. So he knows what he's talking. Be assured on that. But ideally, I would like to take questions as and when they come. As and when they come. The way I just picked up and I said, I'd like to answer that. But I think because you're geared up to answer most questions, don't worry. It would be incorrect on my part to pull up a mic and say, okay, come on, guys, shoot questions. I'm the only one. Okay, I don't claim to be a master of finance, okay, because I always tell this to my student community. My wife is a doctor, by the way. 2 reasons why am I sharing this. 1, I'm married, okay, and 2nd, I'm married to a qualified person, who understands the human body better than I do, better than most of us do. But if you look at human body specialists, you will have a cardiologist, you have a nephrologist, you have a neurologist, you have a dadologist, modologist, gudologist, all kinds of logists that exist. And you probably have a headache and you go to a cardiologist, the cardiologist will say, excuse me, dude, please, this is not my domain. Okay? Now they are so smart, they are so clear. World of finance, people think I've done MBA finance, I've done CA, I've done CFA, I've done CMA. I know everything in finance. Trust me, my understanding, not necessarily experience, my understanding is world of finance is 100 times more complex than the human body. You obviously need subject experts in there, and that's the future. That's the future. When I'm talking about a double-digit contribution by education in this country, in GDP, finance will play a role. That's what my guru, Dr. Sen Gupta, said in the early session in the morning. But I think this is where Finance Forum of India intends to believe that we would like to be the global finance skill provider in the world. So that is with which we have tried to say this. I told you it's my last innings. It has to be a lasting one. So we all live for the future. Right? We all want potentially to leave a legacy behind. We all want potentially to be read after we are not there, to be watched after we are not there, So that's what every human being wants, I being no exception. So please, Pankaj, I think you should continue. I'll take questions as and when they come.
So I'll just, one, Surge, which is a training platform, public speaking, publication and research. Insights. Node is essentially a networking platform where we will be having multiple rooms where people from the industry and from academic students can come there, network with people, and the academicians essentially will be moderating that event. Then we have events. This was our first event. The second event will be in June, and we will have a whole calendar put up on the website. We have Arena. Arena is essentially, you remember the Bonvita quiz contest. Yeah. We are trying to attempt something similar in the finance domain. So these are the 7 services that we are planning to launch. The 7th one is the certificate programs, the list of which is available on the website. Now, whether it is an individual or an institutional member, whether a student at a UG level, PG level, or a professional, or an organization, or an educational institute, the services remains the same, the context changes. The details of that are mentioned in the website. So the pricing is there. People who have questions, even after this, you can call us on the numbers, you can register, you can ask us as many questions as possible, but the memberships are open, and we would like to take this forward as early as possible.
Okay. So basically, why memberships? You know, people think, and we're not charging individuals bomb, okay? I was just referring to Association of Investment Bankers of India. Please Google it. And the membership starts at what, 55,000 per year and goes up to 2.5 lakhs per year. It's like a club membership for me, right? Where I go swimming, you know, I probably use the tennis, badminton court and stuff like that. Yeah, but they're right. They're justified in doing so. Nothing to take away from them. Their logic is very simple. They want only the elite joining who can afford to pay. Similar-minded, similar TG, similar, so which is perfect. I'm not taking that away. But when I say I'm doing Finance Forum of India, it's across stratas. I would love to educate my daughter first on economics and finance. My daughter is just 9th standard. And I know she is likely to be a doctor because my wife is a doctor. You know, it's in the genes. I'll try my level best to change her, you know, by probably giving her some lessons in eco. The point that I'm trying to tell you is there are two things that our youth during their school days are not taught. One is health lessons and second is wealth lessons. I'm into education. I'm a part of government of Maharashtra, so I do interact with a lot of policy makers. I don't want to assume an official government position because then I will not be allowed to do all this. And I mean business, I told you. For every minute that I spend, I need to be compensated. Either, you know, monetarily or non-monetarily, period. You know, otherwise it doesn't make sense. But the fact remains health and wealth lessons are not given. And I'm not here to talk about health, but I probably am here to talk about wealth. And wealth starts with economics. You know, and that's why if you look at one small statement that Finance Forum of India, what does it stand for? The positioning statement. It bridges the gap between economics and finance, economics and business. Simple words, economics is the mother of finance, finance is the mother of business. You don't know economics, no role to play in business. Senior roles don't come your way, never, ever. You need to know finance, again, for the senior roles, irrespective of your function, whether you're HR, marketing, operations. You know, nowadays a lot of people say I'm digital stud and digital dude and do it and all that. But you still need to know economics first. You still need to know, you know, finance second before you know your domain. So that's when I'm trying to open up the strata, you know, right from K-12 students to the most brilliant elitist of professionals. I can't afford to be steep on the membership. And I'm a not-for-profit organization. I want my members to be benefited out of it. My organization has to be very careful. We are governed by Indian Central Board of Direct Taxation. Chartered are here, say know it, how Section 8 company is governed. I need not tell you this. And I have my chartered. Can you raise your hand? Yeah, so he's here, you know, he's a chartered, he's a member of our. And he is so gung-ho about managing this organization. He says, यार मेरे बिरादरी के लोग आने वाले हैं और मैं उनका बाप बनने वाला हूँ. You know, not a bad thing to have. Point that I'm trying to tell you is memberships are pretty affordable. You know, for school kid we are charging 1,000 rupees for annual membership. I know they're not going to be sitting, you know, but the institution may tell them to sit. And obviously we will go to the corporate world and say, भाई CSR है, थोड़ा पैसा दो, हमारा Section 12 क्या है, मल्लू साहब, आज है वो उनको नहीं Section 8 है और कुछ लाने जा रहे थे आप. So he tries to do all of that. I need not know everything in finance, though I'm a CEO of Finance Forum of India. I should know how to take this organization forward, period. I don't want to claim that I'll know everything in finance. I may be a finance specialization student, ex-investment banker, people say, kitab likhi hai, research kiya hai. Bhai, there are hundreds, thousands, millions of people who know more finance than I do, and I don't claim that I know finance. But I know how to build business model within the finance domain, conceptualize an organization and take it forward. That's my role as a CEO. So our memberships, I told you, are very, very, very affordable. You know, you can go and Google and look at it. Obviously, corporates I'll charge. Yeah, corporates make a lot of money and they're going to make more money out of us. I know that. Okay, and I'll obviously subsidize practitioners and academicians, because they anyway struggle, and especially the academicians, and they always feel that I need to make little more money. So we would love to create platforms, and that is what I mentioned. I want every academician practitioner to come together and structure product models, and we'll incubate and accelerate. You will be the beneficiary. And that's the whole idea. See it for yourself. And why did Vishal Bhojani present? You would have been surprised, and somebody might have thought, like, one was a super old 72-year-old man. Second was, don't judge my age, I'm always 27. But the third one, obviously was a relatively younger guy compared to the audience that was sitting. But an academician who has converted a course into a product, moved himself from a teacher to an orator. Orator is just not oral skills, the pedagogy, and has created a business model worth millions of rupees, which is not bad. Please. Similar background as people sitting over here. And that's what we want to incubate as Finance Forum of India. Every individual academician is capable to create a product. Product makes you immortal because it stays after you are not there. And everyone always believed that humans jo bhi karte, do it for the future generation. We prem pude dhaavto. Sorry about Marathi, but that's what they say in Marathi. You always think about the future generation before you think about the past generation. We all do it. We all have done it. Your wealth that you generated is going to be inherited by the future generation. Now, wealth is not necessarily monetary wealth. The product that you create makes you immortal, which is inherited by your future generation. And that's what an academician has to believe, supported by a practitioner, so that we become global skill capital in the world of finance. Understand the connecting the dots analogy over here. Questions? Most welcome. Feel free, ladies and gentlemen. I will obviously chat individually also with you. Be assured on that. But things which are generic need to be spoken. If I can answer, I'll answer. I'll also not probably pretend to give you an answer because you'll have stalwarts over here. And it's not an MBA class, Yeah, sure. Sure. Why don't we have a mic over there? Yeah, sure. Just say your name, your background, and then get going with the question.
Yes, sure. Good afternoon, audience, and good afternoon, sir. Thank you for this opportunity for me to be present here. Because of the event, I'm here because until or unless the event is there, I'm not here. And one common thing what we are here for is nothing but finance. And I am from finance background. My name is Anik Shah. I'm working with Motilal Oswal Financial Services, Prabha Devi, since last 8 years. And one of the topic previously, just before the lunch, what the other guy had spoken about is on derivatives and all some products. So that is what I am more related to, which is commodity and currency markets. And since 20 years almost, 2005 January, I'm into these markets. And as you rightly said, just after when our sir has raised a query that education is going to be in a double-digit growth in India. Not only education, but specifically finance education. And that is going to contribute the growth of GDP of India as well. So this is what I see, I have personally perceived that in the last 20-25 years, what you have seen, IT industry contributing to the India's growth story. I see next 15, 20, 25 years, finance industry is the industry which will definitely contribute to the major portion of India's GDP. And that is what I wanted to highlight here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, since you are in the derivative industry, I have a lot of student base over here, and I think some things happened in India before these students were born. Okay, so there are some young faces over here. And I think if I say 27 is my age, then I think even if I was not born, but maybe that's not true. So derivatives, we all talk about it in forwards and futures and options and swaps and stuff like that. Theoretically, there's a plenty around that. But I think one thing everyone should know, why did our stock market, the National Stock Exchange, launch derivatives on its platform? It happened in year around 1995. 95. Yeah, 95, 95 was the नींव रखी गई थी. 95, 96, okay. Why? So, Singapore, CIMEX wanted to trade on Nifty. CIMEX launched Nifty, futures, the instruments, and there was a research, not research, facts and numbers don't lie. The amount of FNO volume on Chinese market at that point of time, the Chinese derivatives, was bigger than 100 times of India's GDP on a daily basis. And the statutory bodies, we all know taxes and death are the only two realities all over the world, right? So government have to levy taxes, and they make some monies out of it, on anything that any NDD or any individual does, all over the world. We are no exception. If we had allowed Singapore to continue the Nifty derivatives, we would have lost on the volumes. The volumes resulted in transaction taxes that are applicable nowadays. And then obviously you have the IT and the interest component and the GST. Imagine the volume of monies that the government would have lost had we not launched it. I think you look little younger, though you said 8 years of experience. So I'm sure you may have been born around 95, 96 days. Oh, you look very young. You're lucky. No, I wanted your age to be known to the public. That is the idea. So logically, no, perfect. Perfect. So the point that I'm trying to make over here is, yeah, and economic guys probably go younger. I'm an economics guy. Okay. The point that I was trying to tell the audience over here is 95, 96 when NSE launched it, we were not ready. We were just not ready. If you Google it, research it, talk with the guys who were there at that point of time, our systems were not ready. And you're talking about a risk management instrument launched on a platform which was not ready, which means it was riskier. And we still went ahead with it. And it's recorded in the history of India. This is something which I think my audience, especially the younger ones, born after 1995, 96, should be aware of. Questions, comments, most welcome. See, this is a platform where you can share, as this gentleman probably expressed, GDP contribution, financial education will play a role. You're right, finance is going to play a significantly strong role. I run a very successful business model, for your information, extremely successful. But I see 100 times more potential in my third innings. Yeah, being very honest. And 100 times for the same time of span that you spend, I think it's a good risk return, framework to have. We all finance guys. Yeah, any questions, any comments? The platform is where next time when we meet, we can fight. I want my audience to fight, argue. It's very important. Qualitative discussions happen when there is a qualitative argument. Yeah, I understand. Today is our first event. Please don't fight. Okay, but we would love to create a platform where people will come forward and say, come on, let's have an intellectual, duet or a debate for that matter. And I think we want that. That's very important. Your name, background, and little bit, yeah.
Hello, sir. It was nice listening to you from morning. And my name is Dr. Uma. I'm from ITM Skills University. My students are here. And it's good to see them on their toes, learning finance. Thank you so much, sir. They've been speaking about you as well. My simple question is, sir was mentioning about research. So being an academician, I'm more keen on knowing whether it is economic or finance. I'm a finance researcher. So who are the users of this research? Like, where do you want to?
Okay. Now I'll be very, very again candid over here. I really will not be entertaining. Okay, being very upfront. Okay, research which is done for the heck of called as research. Okay. By the way, whatever is getting recorded is going to go live. Everything. Okay, so then I have to be very careful, right? So I have a lot of good friends over here who've done their PhDs and all that, PhD guides and all that. So India follows a very peculiar system, okay? So not to take away anything from our country, we're just a 78-year-old country. Though we may talk about our civilization and rich economy and all that, we are 78 years old. Let's accept it. So our education system is still the medieval British education system, where PhD is a mandatory requirement for people to assume administrative roles. And for you to become PhD, it is mandatory for you to do research, right? So what has happened, research in India, please, nothing to take away from people who've done their PhDs and doctorates and all that. Dr. Uma, kindly pardon me if I send a wrong message to you. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, absolutely. So in India, research becomes involuntary in nature. Okay, what do you mean by involuntary in nature? Standard 10th, standard 12th, graduation in India is involuntary. 10वीं बच्चा करता है, 12वीं करता है, ग्रेजुएट करता है, MBA करता है आपकी स्किल्स यूनिवर्सिटी में, वो इनवॉलेंट्री बन जाता है, सॉरी वॉलेंट्री बन जाता है. हर कच्चा जो ग्रेजुएट करता है डजंट डू MBA. नंबर्स आर हियर टू टेल यू. हर बच्चा जो ग्रेजुएट बनता है, CA नहीं बनता है ना MBA बनता है, वो शायद ग्रेजुएशन पे खुश रहता है. MBA, professional certifications are all voluntary programs. We at Finance Forum of India, first premise of taking a research topic and we investing in it, we are ready to invest, support, incubate, is whether it is voluntary or involuntary. It has to be voluntary in first of all. If it is only for your publication, and NAC and NBA, no, not for you, I'm not talking you, Dr. Uba, please don't get me wrong. No, I know, but it happens. People come to me, people talk about that. So if it's voluntary research, yes, that's point number one. Point number two, the consumption of this research has to be with the industry. So how does it work globally? Research, how does it work globally? And I've been lucky, because of my stint as the CEO of IMS Test Prep in past, plus SPJN. My boss was Dr. Shrikant. For people who know MBA industry, you would be aware, DBA Harvard. And DBA Harvard, it is a rare commodity. Sorry to use that word, in India. You don't become DBA Harvard so easily. And he was one of them. And trust me, there are plenty of episodes between me and him where I always felt like a mediocre student, though I was a professor over there. So he taught us one thing, that research has to be based on a problem statement that comes from the industry. Whereas most researchers in India, which is what he pointed out, and I believe it is true today, because I'm not a PhD, but I've seen and worked closely with a lot of PhDs who do research from an academic point of view, to fulfill the requirement because they're into an involuntary framework. Whereas research, if it's voluntary and backed with a problem statement from a company or a corporate, yes, that's research that we are talking about that we would love to do. Obviously, the corporate is a consumer for it, because you think we'll finance? No, the corporate has to finance. We are a Section 8 company, but we know how to be a bridge over there. So it starts with a problem statement. Get a problem statement, we'll get you a research fellow. Because otherwise, all those things come in, that I need a research guide and stuff like that. Problem statement gets you everything, right from resources to research guides. Brilliant. Okay. Okay. Doesn't make sense, absolutely. So if you're really interested in doing something to do with economics research, which will have consumers, uh, just just do one geopolitical research on the economic welfare addition due to wars. Due to wars. The Vietnam War till date. It's a big area. Assumingly, I'm not digressing and I'm not trying to be a teacher over here, but because I authored a book. You know why I authored a book off record? I was an SPJ teaching economics, and like I was young. I am young today, but I was much younger those days. Much younger those days, and then jumping around. And so 5 students from Delhi School of Economics came and pointed it out to Dr. Shrikant, saying, "Sir, we studied in Delhi School of Economics, and what's happening in front of us in our classroom is completely different. We like it, but is it economics?" And the moment Dr. Shrikant heard that, he called me. He said, "When is your next class?" I said, "Tomorrow morning." He said, he is going to attend. Now, do you edit at times? No. I have to be very, very careful on my words, right? Luckily, because luckily the camera is there. Otherwise, I would have used some good words. Huh? It's live. Thank you so much. Good you told me. So, basically, Dr. Shrikant points out to me and says, "Doc," he used to call me, "Prof, tomorrow morning I'll come." So I obviously, I'm scared. I could have used a better word, but I'm scared. Used to stay in Vashi. SPGN is in Andheri. The first thing is going from Vashi to Andheri, early morning, 8:10 class. We as Indians, sorry, nothing to take away. We are likely to be late by a few minutes. Assumed to be late. And I can't be. He's an American, America educated guy. So I choose to stay in a Andheri lodge. I have no choice. I stay in a Andheri lodge. 1,000 rupees wala jo milta hai, ekdam typical. Not even bread and breakfast, Only bed. Kind of a thing. Bhai, nikalni hai raat, subah session lena hai. I go and do a session. He calls me and he says, "Prof, I write a book, then only the world will take you seriously." For me, it became purely voluntary. I was never a research guy. I did a hell lot of research. If, a lot of articles published, which are part of the book. So that's why I told you, this is a fascinating topic for you, voluntary research, brilliant. You'll have consumers. You'll have countries as consumers. Okay, why this topic? We all talk about America, and US. And there are only 2 kinds of people in India, okay? The one who love India, the one who love America, and the one who hate America. Simple. It's either a love or it's either a hate. Simple. There is no third audience. Neutral is there who are unaware of what is happening. So, US has always been a catalyst in most of the wars that have happened. It's growth beyond the geography, to make US what it is, US. Today also, no one talks about US recession. They talk about UK recession. Europe getting into recession. They don't talk about US is back. It was near zero unemployment. It is crazy. With a system that exists in America, near zero unemployment, it's a massive, massive parameter. It's all linked to what I just made a mention. Yeah, suggestions, comments, everything welcome. My guys were saying today, "Sir, दोपहर को रहोगे नहीं ना, तो फिर problem होगा." So, that's why it is a Saturday. Okay, Saturday is a day where, government offices don't normally work. And even if they work, you're not summoned to be there. So that little leeway you have. Second, today being a second Saturday, is it? Yeah, thank you so much. So the private corporate doesn't work, right? So that's the second side. And incidentally, it seems yesterday was a very big Hindu day, Akshay Tritiya, right? So you normally don't party, with a whiskey glass in your hand on Akshay Tritiya day. So you will wake up in the morning on time on Saturday, though it's a holiday. So that was this day chosen. Yeah. So questions, comments? See, I want people to feel free, enjoy the thing. I still can't be myself because of the video camera, So students, some of them who know me, they have seen, your ITM girls, guys, your group probably is honked with me. They say, so what kind of words you use? Our teachers, if they hear, all that kind. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So, as it was mentioned, there will be a focus of the forum in terms of, you can say, speaking skills or communication skills of the students which you are going to train through your programs. My experience has been, because I have been a, you can say, public sector banker for 20 years. Thereafter, I moved to the entrepreneurship and I started my own IT company. So I had done a lot of recruitment for my company, and I have seen is that even there is a very big gap in written communication of the skills of the student when they come to the, you can say, area where they went to become professional, because mine was the IT company. So they need not to involve in much of the written communication. But when you move into the corporates, I think after a certain stage, it is not the work you do, it is the way you written, in writing you communicate. And that is, in my personal perception, there is a very big gap. You become engineers, you become MBA graduates also with a flying colors. But I have personally experienced that their communication, written communication, in many of the cases has been very much poor, and majority of the cases it has been only standard. I have grown up in a very small village and graduated myself in a Hindi medium university, but I could pick up. So what I feel is that if that can also be supported, so they will become better professionals as compared to the simply coming raw and learning the way I have learned it myself.
Yeah, I appreciate it, sir. Absolutely appreciate. So, we made a mention that specifically in educational institutions, there are two categories. I made a mention of MBA institutes and non-MBA institutes. Primarily, you look at the best management schools in Bombay, I won't name them. I can name the good ones, obviously, SP Jain and Jamnalal Bajaj and IIM Mumbai and SJ SOM and BITSOM. There is a lot of emphasis on WAC as a subject. True WAC. What you're pointing out is absolutely meritorious. Most managers, most MBAs can't write. You're absolutely right. Having said this, as Finance Forum of India, we are not thinking about a communication program. Please don't get me wrong. There are entities who are supposed to do it and who are fairly making an attempt to do it in that direction. I believe ITM has a communication program and stuff like that. And I'm sure Academy also has that. So, written communication, if somebody has to improve in the context of finance, then the best thing to do is what ICFI does in Hyderabad. Okay, so for people, all are from finance. So ICFAI The Institute of Chartered Financial Analysts, it's actually a name which is not gone down well with the US CFA. There is a Supreme Court case going on. But I think one good thing that this Indian body has done, promoted by Yashasvi and Besant Raj in 1991 or so, is a lot of written research in finance. A lot, because the name itself was, Institute of Chartered Financial Analysts of India. So obviously it all started with financial writing, financial reporting, financial analytics. So financial analytics is what we are talking today. They started talking about financial analytical communication, FAC, which was wonderful. And you will be surprised that this body creates more cases which are acceptable cases for academic and corporate purposes, more than anyone else, any other entity in entire Asia. So when we say we have a research and publication wing in FFOI, we will make a small attempt, but moment we get quality members who are ready to potentially give that element of time, and it should be a win-win, we would love to build on to it. It would be incorrect on my part to say that we can do everything in terms of the skill gap matching. It will be incorrect. Yeah, but you are right. You pointed out, people when they say communication, people only probably emphasize on the oral communication. Whereas more important today than ever before might be written communication, because all students, all corporate professionals are hooked on with social media. And you write on the social media thing, before you probably give your voice note. So, and there have been cases where people have been sued and people have got behind bars for using wrong words. So you're right. Yeah. Suggestions, questions? Yeah, sure, sir. Please. Yeah.
We can have their practical experiences or somebody talking on that.
Okay, so the best person for you to have asked that question, this would have been Dr. Sengupta. Okay, I will be upfront with, we have hundreds of members, but today is a change of leadership day, right? I hope you understand. And don't get me wrong, we want to be very transparent. We want it to be transparent because this entity has been connected with a lot of statutory entities also. Please understand, I don't know, there would have been some experience with ICAI for all you know, right? So I have to be little careful, and politically correct, before I do. So maybe at a later date, you're absolutely justified, not today. I hope my message is loud. Yeah, feel free, guys. Students don't have questions. The young. Yeah, sure. No, why the mic is passed? Because everyone else should probably be able to hear what is being said.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. I am Tanzil.
You can sit.
Thank you. I am Tanzil, and currently I am working at ISS Stocks. And I want to know your perspective about ESG and finance. Since ESG, environment, social, and governance, since I am in that domain, it is considered that ESG and finance are they are together. Since COVID, there is a rise in ESG, and there are many ESG funds available in the market which are not very popular. So I want to know what is your perspective about ESG and finance, and is FFOI going to inculcate ESG?
So what he's necessarily talking about is the societal thing, It's more to do with ESG and economy and not finance. I'm not trying to correct you, but that's how it is. It's more to do with economy. People say it is finance. Now, the background for this and what's possible. What's possible? It's not a easy domain, first of all. Let me be very upfront with you. Because these are the buzzwords that the world has been talking in the last 2 decades. You know, when you talk about global warming, yeah, green revolution, green evolution, green energy, you know, all those things that the world is talking. Why it has been spoken of late more than pre-COVID era is because the world is scared that you have another COVID kind of a phase for the next generation. It happened 100 years back. Spanish flu happened 100 years back, you know, and it did happen. Not too many people are aware of it because it was a part of history. And then something happened, which was again a virus thing that happened. But if you look at Indian history, India has always been plagued with concepts like plague. You know, the plague ki saath, you know, plague outbreak. So ESG has been spoken, and it's got more to do with economy than finance, first of all. Why environment? Why environment? Because Corona, whether it was a geomedical crisis or a politico-medical crisis, people are still debating. Let's again. Environment did not get affected because of Corona. Understand? Society did get affected because of Corona. But there is environmental damage happening which might result in something which may not call it as pandemic, but something which is unprecedented. Just to give you a small example, why is it being spoken about? Last week, Maharashtra had a hot wave, heat wave. Are you aware? At the same time, no, we had heat wave. Same time, in areas more or less geographically equivalent to Maharashtra, there was cold wave in Europe. Yeah. Cold wave. Imagine what's happening. It's a balance. It's a balance. Plus and a minus is happening. Now, this is where monies need to be invested in. This is what it takes the shape of ESG finance. Now, if you ask me FFI, we would be willing if we get the right members. Okay, FFI has to be run by members, by the way. Hello, we will have office bearers. Let's be very practical. I will obviously have an organization, you'll have a CEO, you will have a departmental head, you will have this manager, that manager. It's an organization. But essentially, the ideation, the conceptualization, the incubation, and the acceleration on the program thing that I mentioned has to come from members. So it's a qualitative nature of the member skill that will probably tell us whether we are geared up to do something on ESG finance that you mentioned. So okay, I have tried to study a fair bit, okay, what's happening in the world before I did my today. 33 months is a long period to do any kind of homework. It was planned 33 months back. I'm being very honest with you. After the corona, whatever you call, lockdowns were over. You know, then we had to do something. Yeah. Feel free. Yes, sir. You have a fund? You have a fund over there, ESG, sectoral analysis, no? ESG analysis you do.
Hello, I'm Dimple and I'm with Mentoring Finance. Actually, we are into training and consulting of IFRS, Ind AS, business valuation, mergers and acquisition. So my query is actually when I heard your word, business of education. So what happened like 5 years ago, I joined this institute and then what happened? I was using the same term, like I'm into business of education. And then I instructed by my senior that you should not use this word like business of education, because in India, it seems unethical. So I again heard that the same thing which I was using, you are using. So how people don't, I mean, my question is, why don't people accept that we are into business?
Yeah,
So,
okay.
right.
$1 trillion question for me. Okay, just to give you an analogy here. Part of Maharashtra State Skills University, Maharashtra State Skills University belonging to Department of Skills, Mantralaya, Government of Maharashtra. Apart from strategy, one of the mandate that I had was to oversee admissions. Simple. What will I say? You think I'll say admission? You heard me. Officially, you heard me. I said sales.
Yeah.
Right? So I said sales. Sale karna hai. You won't believe it sent shockwaves in Mantralaya. People within Mantralaya started, ye kya ho raha hai, kind of a thing. So I can't correct the policy makers. There are certain sections and entities in this society whom we don't want to or intend to or should correct. So keep them aside. It's not about ethical, unethical. Ethics, then definition has to be understood correctly. Ethics definition. Ethics and morals are two different things. We are not here to discuss that, so I'm not getting into it. If you believe you are doing business of education, have the conviction and stick to it. Simple. Let the world have its own opinion. Let the world have its own perceptions. Because if the moment I say, now just one case, moment I say, I'm into charitable education environment, I am doing societal things, I am a charitable trust, and what do? I generate surpluses. I generate surpluses which get reinvested, and I generate surpluses which get reinvested, and when I generate surpluses, when they get reinvested, whether it is invested in capex or opex, who watches, who observes, no one knows. Where does the money go? So under the guise of saying I do societal work, if somebody is going to generate surpluses, I am better off saying I am doing business of education, accept it. I am a Section 8 company, governed by law. The lawmakers are allowing me, as long as I am with the lawmakers, within the boundaries laid down by all the statutory bodies that govern India, I am ethical. Stick to your guns is what I would advise. Because, it's on record, since again I'm getting recorded, and it's available in public domain. This is year 2019. Place is Czechoslovakia, area Prague. Seaman Conference, Seaman spelled as C-E-E-M-A-N. At least 150 heads of universities, of institutions under one roof. Very similar to this. Very similar. In Prague, okay, Czechoslovakia. I am from India. And my only colleague from India is Indira Parekh. Ex-Dean, I am Ahmedabad. Two Indians. We are talking. She is a speaker, I am a speaker in different activities, on the stage and stuff like that. And there are this very high level people, people of the likes of Deepak Jain, Kellogg's Dean. So you can understand. Philip Kotler's boss, for a younger generation to understand. There is one guy, and they're all heads of universities, deans, heads, big B school heads, AIM, Asian Institute of Management, Cologne Business School, Antwerp, Belgium, big ones. Everyone talks about, what you said,
Yes.
we do this and we do that and we do that. and I'm placing on record, I'm getting recorded, there is one gentleman who goes on stage, apart from me, of course. I said, I'm in business. I said that. I didn't say that. I responded to that thing. One guy goes on stage, very senior guy. I don't recollect his name. I think Richard Branson or somebody, but forget the name. The super boss of Hult School of Business, H-U-L-T, Hult School of Business. Campuses, Boston, New York / London, Middle East, Madrid. He goes on stage and says, I do business of education. I do business of business education. Is there anyone else who is doing it? And it's only yours truly. That's me who says, yes, I do it, and I'm proud to say that I do it. So
actually, it's business of education only, even institution, and no one does.
That's
it.
exactly
But
so.
they don't
What do
expect
you
it.
call ethics? What do you call? You being truthful and transparent is ethics.
Yes. Actually, they don't accept that.
Yeah,
We are
so
doing
why?
business
That
of
is there,
education.
that is there, that is theirs. We don't have to control what others say and others do. We can decide what we say and what we do. Simple.
They try to change our perception.
Why are we changing? That's conviction. That's sticking to your guns. Never ever change, young lady, when you have conviction. As long as it is in the law. If it cannot be beyond the law. You're justified. Within the law, you have conviction, stick to it. Okay. Sorry, but since the young lady has raised and she's little emotionally, charged up on this because somebody pointed out and she's thinking, tum chori kar rahe ho, kind of a thing. And then aap bol rahe ho, not chori, but you're making profits, you're doing business and you're saying, don't use this word. That's it. So there's that emotional thing coming out. I'll just tell you again an anecdote. When I said in 1995 that I want to be in education, I was an investment banker. An MBA from TAPME. Very expensive MBA, okay? My current fees is, I think, around 30-35 lakhs, maybe more. 2 years programs. You can imagine how expensive even in those days it would have been. Typical investment banker, and I said, I told my dad, Mom, I'm quitting my job. I said, I'm getting into education. Everyone started questioning. Right? I said, I'll make the same kind of money as what I would have done otherwise as an investment banker. It was conviction, right? Because people always, I started today's session, I said, in history when I was growing up, we were told people who do, they do, who don't, they teach. So that was the question asked to me at age 24, 25, maybe lesser than that. And I said, no, I'm jumping. And I'm convinced that I will make equally good or more money than I would as an investment banker being in the corporate world. Conviction, sticking to the guns. All I'm trying to tell you, within the law, you believe in something, stick to it. Don't have to get, they have a right to say anything. You have a right to be selective listener. Anyways, let's not argue.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And even I didn't change, but I saw someone who agreed with my thoughts. So
Yeah,
that's why I shared it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want, what am I saying? From morning onwards, I want every teacher to believe that he's in the business of education. Then only he'll move from a course to a product and a teacher to a orator. He will otherwise just be the person who gets that monthly compensation. Why? Because, now just, what's your name, young lady? Uma, okay. Pardon me if I'm crossing the line, I think, okay. Uma is a PhD, head of faculty, finance, ITM, okay. How many years? No, overall 12 years. She has taught 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hundreds of people in the last 12 years. Umas, correct me if I'm wrong, there would be at least a few students who are passed out who were taught by you in some capacity who are drawing at least double the compensation that you are drawing. Yes, no? 1000% yes, right? Doesn't she deserve to draw more than that? Of course she does. That's what I'm trying to tell. The teachers believe, when teachers then they say, and I had a teacher, okay, I don't know, I can't quote obviously, in my system, and we used to pay around 8-9 lakh rupees, very good teacher, and a couple of our students got around 14-15 lakhs package. 12-14 लाख का CTC का पैकेज मिल गया ओवर 7 years 10 years younger to the teacher. यार हमको इतना ही मिलता है, अरे अभी इसका आंसर कैसे दोगे? I can't change that system, right? Education will collapse in India. Education will collapse in India because on one side your fees are regulated and you can't have market prices for the faculties. What do we do in that case, right? So that's where forums like FFY come forward and say, let's see if we can find a solution to this. Yeah, sure.
Education is the second largest industry on earth. Why be apologetic about it?
Just then. Now everyone accepts upgrade because it is private. Everyone accepts an academy. You know, a few months back, maybe a year back, Shah Rukh was God because he was Baiju. Okay. Now Shah Rukh still remains God. Baiju is pauper. Right? In your front of you, it's happened. Why should we say, my model, I say, Academia Schools of Business Studies. I don't own anything and I still own many other things. It's a business. Let people crack it. We've cracked it. People will have there. So if you think, what's your name you said, young lady? Dimple, there are 6 out of 10 people in the marketplace in the industrial, ये क्या करते हैं? अबे भाई, तुम करने को आता है तो तुम करो. तुम तो भौंकते रहो. When elephants walk, dogs bark. Simple. Yeah? Yeah, okay. First of all, thank you so much for such a lovely audience. I really thought post-lunch people will just, not necessarily doze off. For them to doze off, they have to come here first. The first thought was the people will come back. So I'm glad people came back. Second, yes, there were very qualitative points that were being raised. Obviously, people will take some more time to become comfortable with the system, with me. But at least one thing, the FinShift Conclave 2024 has achieved, that some academicians, some corporate guys came on this platform. We had a few students who worked really hard for this. So first of all, I don't like giving Thanksgiving and all that, because Thanksgiving I always believe is for the end kind of a thing. And abhi story to baki hai mere dost kind of a thing. We all hear that when Shah Rukh says it, abhi zindagi baki hai, zindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi, all that. So no Thanksgiving and all that, but I think 24 years we did something. Next, whatever years, and I don't want to define and cap it, we would like to do things raised to 24 that we did in the last 24 years. So that's a humongous task. People, obviously, every finance person understands this much mathematics. The integers are understood. So, it's a good beginning for a new chapter in the life of Finance Forum of India. I told you this is my third innings in my life, last and hopefully lasting one. You will get to hear from me, my office bearers, my members, more and more as we move ahead in time. And we believe we will be able to create a platform for each one of you where you will get value first before you add value, because I strongly believe on a very strong premise, give value before extract value. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a lovely audience. Thank you so much and hope to see you again. Thank you so much. So with this, we declared this as an event closed. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you so much everyone for attending this event, being a part of this. I declare the floor is open for networking and you can network with the people around you. Also, we would request if you could cooperate with our interns and give some feedback about the event so that we get an opportunity to understand better and how the event went and we could develop it in more other ways. Thank you so much.
You want a mic also? My voice is loud enough. Hello. Yeah. Audible? Audible? So, um, I'm glad that today I subscribed and opted out to come for this seminar on FinShift 2024 organized by Finance Forum of India. I really didn't know what to expect and for what I'm going, but after the whole day session, I am taking a lot of valuables with me, uh, taking a new definition of finance, and hopefully, as Sir has said, that if correct me if I am wrong, it was DSPP. Uh, that will matter a lot for me in the future, and it should matter for everyone. Thank you, Finance Forum of India, for inviting us, and it was a great, fruitful day. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. The FinShift 2024, organized by Finance Forum of India, was a beautiful event and brought all the like-minded people from the finance specialization together, something that one should always look forward to. Lots of learning, lots of exchange of ideas, and above all, networking with people who can bring in better ideas for the future. Good luck to the organization and good luck to the staff. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It was a nice experience coming here at Finance Forum of India. It actually truly a model of collaborating industry with academia, was able to connect to students with their new models. So I wish them all the best. It was a great start. Thank you so much.
Thanks for thanks for Finance Forum of India. This is the great experience of me, and I sure this is help to achieve the big goal of my life in finance sector also. So thank you very much for Finance Forum of India, and I and I always attend many seminars, but this seminars is also good. So thanking you so much.
So hello everyone, I'm Dimple from Mentoring Finance, and we provide training and consulting in IFRS valuation and index, and we also do business mergers and acquisitions and implementation of all these things. So I got the reference of Finance Forum of India from my college, Mumbai University of Thane sub campus, and I found this really useful and very nice, and the lectures given by sir was very nice, and like this event was arranged by students, which was really nice. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
जोर से बोलना पड़ेगा अच्छा चलो करो बस अच्छा I'm sorry, I've come a little late, but I've been during the post-lunch session. It was a very insightful session and a very interesting session by Nilesh Sarvate about his forthcoming programs which is going to have in this FinShift 2024 conclave. And I'm sure that we are going to be part of it and going to have a great events for the days to come. And wish the FinShift 2024 conclave all the best. And thank you. Thank you.
हेलो माइक टेस्टिंग 1 2 3 4 लाईव्हला जातो ना लाईव्ह चालू आहे लाईव्हला
Hello. Good evening. This is Anik Shah here. I was invited to this event on Facebook. I just went through and I felt one of the connections over here is like we need to definitely upskill the level of knowledge in India on finance, and this is one of the right forums one can connect with, and definitely it will help India to scale up skilled people in finance specifically. Thank you.
Hello, 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 hello.
In forward or backward? Uh, Thank you, FinShift and for Finance Forum of India for inviting us in this conference. And it's a very nice way to spend Saturday in the enriching, knowledge enriching events. One of the thing which I like it that one of the biggest gap between the academia and a corporate is going to be bridge. They are trying to bridge it on that one, and I hope they are very much successful on doing that, because it's one of the biggest challenge which we are facing from the last couple of decades, that there is a lot of gap between the academia and the corporate. And if for Finance Forum of India is able to do that, it is a great success for them. So all the best. Thank you.